Hello Star Wars fans and collectors, it's me Jedi Master 98 back again with another Star Wars figure review. In today's Star Wars figure review we're going to be taking a look now at a couple of characters that appear in the Ahsoka TV show. Now in today's Star Wars review is a vintage collection set that I managed to pick up from the vintage collection. The characters we're going to take a look at today are these two. It is Sabine Wren and the Howler. So basically what I've got here are two bits of packaging in terms of obviously the action figures I've got for today. What we'll do is we'll take a look at Sabine Wren's individual packaging first, then the main packaging. So we'll start off with the packaging first. So as you see, this is the packaging for Sabine Wren. This is obviously the slightly larger figure, or card I should say, that comes with this figure. Excuse me, not really too sure why it's a slightly larger card. I'm not really too sure what's gone on there, whether they're trying to do it as a deluxe figure or something like that. I don't really know the main reason. But obviously at the front you've obviously got this Ahsoka logo, name the character, the plastic bubble that protects the figure, the Ken logo, and an image of Sabine in action there. Turn the packaging around, legal stuff at the very bottom, another shot of the character there in terms of obviously the image and a brief description on the character, and if you want to pause the video to have a quick read, by all means do so. So that is your packaging for Sabine. The next bit we're going to take a look at is obviously the main part, which is obviously the larger packaging. So this is the Howler and Sabine Wren's packaging from the Ahsoka TV show. As you see, this is a set in terms of obviously what we see towards the end of the first series. You obviously got the logo at the top, some images going on there, excuse me, and obviously some prices going on. There's a big sale sticker there. I managed to get this in the sale. Instead of paying $39.99 I paid $29.99 from my local Forbidden Planet. Got a really nice shot there of the characters in action. Turn it back to the side, there's some images there which you can see there. If I move it the other way around, there's some more images there. You've got some more images there, followed by some legal stuff there. And obviously the main part, if I turn the packaging around, you've obviously got an even bigger image of the character in action, and obviously it's got a little bit there which tells you about the cards in terms of Sabine Wren's figure and all that lot. Legal stuff at the bottom, and obviously you can see what comes with the figure. So obviously you've got the Howler, the weapons, and two replaceable legs as well, but we will go on to that in the review later on. So these are your packaging for Sabine Wren and the Howler. Let's take a look at these characters in more detail. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the accessories first and then go on to obviously the main part of the review. So in terms of accessories, we do have Sabine's helmet from the show. Obviously this is the helmet that she uses in the show. As you see, it's a nicely designed helmet in terms of the painting and everything. The only thing is it's obviously got like a little bit underneath, like a peg, where you can obviously change the head. I'm not a massive fan of it. I prefer the removable helmets. I know there was a few complaints from Star Wars fans about the previous version of Sabine Wren where the helmet was a little bit big and the head was a little bit of an issue, and some other things going on in terms of the sculpting of the head and the helmet. So they've improved on this in terms of obviously what you got, but in terms of what you got there, it's nicely done. So that's your helmet. I will show you that later on in more detail in terms of obviously when I get around to changing the head and everything. Unlit lightsaber, obviously this is Ezra's, as you can see there, and there's like a little peg where it can obviously be placed on the belt. So that's nicely done there. So that's the little lightsaber hilt. The other accessory is obviously the lightsaber itself. Green blade going on, and obviously which you can see there. Hopefully that's coming up well. on screen. So there's your sabre. And the other accessories are the changeable legs. So you've got a right and a left leg. You've obviously got the holes there, which obviously they can go into the pegs, and obviously the legs can be sort of moved up and down and side to side like that. So you've got some really nice detail in terms of obviously what's going on with the fur, and the feet are sculpted well. So that's your accessories. We'll go on to the main parts of the figure, and then I'll do a zoom in and briefly switch the heads and everything. So the Howler and Sabine Wren are nicely done. I do have a version quite similar to this set, which is obviously the Mandalorian and the Blurg, and it's quite cool. But this is another great addition to the collection. In terms of obviously articulation, I'll go on to each bit. So the Howler, there's movable head, movement in the legs going on, obviously up and down, side to side. That occurs at the front and the back, and the tail moves up and down and side to side. The head as well is movable, where you can obviously move the mouth up and down, which is a nice touch. And obviously you've got the reins at the side, which are sculpted nicely. You've obviously got that look going on in terms of obviously with this creature, and you've got some really nice detail on the saddle and in terms of what's going on. The sculpted fur is nicely done. Just give you a zoom in on the overall character, and obviously you'll see Sabine as well. So obviously there's your tail, nicely sculpted there in terms of what we got. The back legs are nicely sculpted as well, same with the front, and detail on the saddle, which is really cool, and the reins are sculpted well, which is a nice touch. And obviously you've got a nice sort of look going on in terms of fur and everything. If I was to just zoom out, back legs, there's one, there's two, obviously they are changeable, and obviously just making sure that they are placed in correctly and firmly. Bear with me 1 second. Right, that's one. It's a little bit of a fiddle, but they do come on. It's taking its time, everyone, so I do apologise for that. Let me just move Sabine off there, and hopefully that can be placed. Right, a little bit of a fiddle. Right, okay. Just struggling to bang these on. I did it earlier on prior to reviewing that one. Right, okay, so that's what I've got. Helpful. Helpful. Right, we got there in the end, and then we didn't, so yeah, I'm sort of right, sort of a little bit of a struggle, but they do fit on, which you can see there. Obviously, just bearing with obviously with the time and obviously the patience of my Star Wars viewers. The legs are obviously sculpted on there, which they can obviously move up and down and side to side and everything, but it's a little bit of a fiddle in the sample I've got. But yeah, obviously you can see they're on there and everything, and obviously you can obviously remove them. So I do apologise for the slight delay in terms of obviously trying to sort that out. Right, I'll get these other ones back on because they are more secure. So obviously that's the Howler without Sabine on, which you can obviously see there. As I said, nice detail going on obviously with the saddle. So that's really cool. Let's take a look at Sabine in more detail. So we will take a look at her off the Howler, and I will show you the character in more detail. I'll just get the blaster pistols out. Thank you for bearing with me as well, everyone, with that, because it was a little bit of a fiddle. Right, okie dokie, here we go. Sabine Wren from Star Wars, the Ahsoka TV show. As you see, articulation wise, and movement top of the head, shoulders, elbows and the wrist, torso is movable, movement of the legs, movement of the knees, movement of the ankles. She does come with 2 blaster pistols. They're the other accessories that she does come with. They can be slotted in the holsters on the right and left hand side there, which is nice done. Give you a zoom in on the overall detail of the character. Obviously this is Sabine's appearance towards the end of the first series. She does come with a cloak, which obviously can be removed, and obviously you can see the artwork on the shoulder pads going on, which is nicely done. And obviously you've got your gauntlets and everything. Obviously if I just move that down there, you obviously got nice details of the actress who portrays Sabine. And then obviously moving down, you've obviously got the chest armour that is covered, which you can see. And there's a peg there, obviously where the sabre goes. And obviously that's all the stuff going on there, so I'll just button that down. And then obviously moving down to the legs, knees and ankles, nicely done. So a really nice shot of Sabine in action there. I'll just give you a zoom out and then obviously show the figure with the helmet on. Obviously you've got the removable head. As I said, I'm a fan of the helmets where you actually remove it and there is a facial sculpt underneath. Not a really massive fan of this, and it's going to probably be a future thing. Right, I'm just about to put this on there. I seem to be struggling at the minute. It's not helpful. Come on. Oh my god. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Right. Right, is that on? Oh, it was on. Oh my god. I really do apologise, everyone. It's becoming a little bit of a fiddle. Right, come on. I'll just had it then. Right. There we go. I had a little click. There we go. Cool. God blimey, that was a fiddle. Right, okay. So this is the figure, obviously with the helmet on. I'll just get the lightsaber as well to place it in her hand. Obviously this is Ezra's lightsaber as well. So as you see there. Give you a zoom in. Like I said, thanks very much for the patience, everyone. There's obviously the helmet in a closer look. Obviously I'll just move the sabre out of the way. Really nice going on there. Obviously got the bit of the side that moves up and down, which is nicely done. And you've obviously got nice shades of colours as well. And obviously you've got that nice shade of green on the sabre. And obviously the helmet is nicely done as well. But yeah, really nicely done. Like I said, I'm not a massive fan of the removable helmet without the face underneath. It's something I'm not a fan of, but unfortunately it is what it is now. In terms of the figure, the detail is really cool, along with the Howler, and obviously you can recreate a few scenes from the last couple of episodes of the Ahsoka TV show. I'm initially pleased with my purchase, obviously with Sabine and the Howler, and hopefully I've reviewed this as best I can. All I can say is thank you very much for bearing with me in the video, because obviously it was a little bit of a fiddle with some bits, but we got there in the end. But all I can say is thank you very much for watching this Star Wars review. So that's been Sabine and the Howler. As I said, thank you very much for watching. I'm very impressed with my purchase in terms of obviously stuff going on in terms of the sculpt and the paint and everything. They've done a nice job. Some of it was a little bit for fiddle with the helmet and everything, but once you've done that a few times, hopefully that will obviously become a lot easier. Be sure to obviously subscribe to the channel, follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I will see you in the next Star Wars review. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Take care, look after yourself, and as always, may the Force be with you.